All right, we're all synced up. All right, today's topic is decoding immigration officers. What do you need to know about their conduct? Okay, welcome to greencardguys.tv. I'm your host, John Ting. I practice immigration law in all 50 states of America and worldwide, helping you solve your immigration problem and hopefully prevent it from happening in the first place so you can get the legal status that you deserve. All right, so here's the deal. Hello, Tess from Seattle. We are live in Houston, Texas, and here to answer your question. So I'm going to answer the topic of the day, of course, and you're welcome to ask any questions in the comment section. Eventually, maybe we'll go live together or invite you to the studio in that sense, virtually. But for now, you're welcome to comment down below your question, and I will try my best in the next 15 to 30 minutes to answer those questions. If you're looking for a more in-depth answer, that's understandable because I'm trying to hit the high points really quickly here for everyone. Or I'm not able to get to your question at all in this live show, no worries. We do offer a free 15-minute strategy session. Now, we changed it up a bit, okay? So I'm going to share a code with you live on this show that people who use this code, okay, it's going to be it's going to be valid for 24 hours, okay? So you'll get more priority, because a lot of people, our team has realized we get a lot of inquiries, a lot of calls, a lot of messages, and it's just hard to help prioritize. People have a question, to be honest, and some people need an answer sooner than others. So here's the code. Got Visa. Okay? Don't forget it. The code is Got Visa. I'll share the code again later today on this live show. So share that code, and our CARES team will, if you share that code, they'll try their best to prioritize your consultation. Because, for the most part, we're booked out for like 2 weeks. But if someone, drops off for any reason, we'll bump yours up a little sooner. I've already started to lose my voice. All right. So the way to get in touch with our office, you can contact us at this number above. Apparently on TikTok, I can't share that kind of information, or I can't talk about pricing. Love being transparent, but TikTok at least is a little bit more strict on that. They banned me for a few minutes yesterday after an hour on a live show. So if anyone asks about fees, the only thing I can say is that we have typically 3 service plans, and hopefully you don't ban me now. Okay, so apparently I can't share my phone number. So the best thing to do is go to greencardguys.com, C-O-M, and you can get information about our law from there, or just click on my profile. All right. All right. So here's the deal. Decoding immigration officers. What you need to know, what you need to know about their conduct. Now, some officers, some people, our own clients will say, we represent them through the entire case. And then for the interview, if they pick the pro plan, it does not include our representation at the interview, which is completely fine. But some people say, oh, no big deal. But of course, for most circumstances, we do recommend having a lawyer at the interview, even though on paper it appears straightforward. Now, the deal is because some officers, especially when it was the President Trump administration, they asked a lot more questions that are not even relevant, okay? But even if it was relevant, they might ask the question multiple times, the same question more than once, and it might not necessarily be back to back, but what they're trying to do, which I think sometimes in a not really helpful way for them, is that they're literally trying to ask, like, not this question, but like go straight to the point, like, did you murder so and so? Like criminal trials don't work like that, right? You don't go straight to the point like that. But sometimes USCIS officers will try to go straight to the point. Some that are really better than others, they'll try to do kind of ask a preliminary question to get to that point, to see if maybe you committed marriage fraud or something, or there's a sham marriage. So that's the other reason you need a lawyer, to at least prepare you for the interview. Okay, so because a lot of people call us, and we love to believe everyone, but we have to do our due diligence just as if we were a USCIS officer, because we have to assume that some people who call in could be potentially marriage fraud. So with that in mind, we do ask certain questions to just verify. Sorry for personal questions, but to some extent, we have to verify that it's a legitimate bona fide marriage. Okay, so generally speaking, this topic is for marriage-based cases, because if you're a U.S. citizen adult child and you're sponsoring your parents, they're not going to go into these questions that are the concern for this video, this topic today. So again, you're welcome to ask a question in the comment section. Again, if I'm not able to get to it, which most likely not, because we end up getting 100 plus questions, which is wonderful. Love it. Appreciate it. Send us a DM. Okay. And now that way we can at least send you our information. All right. So let's see here. So the other thing, okay, that they ask is they start asking you a very broad question. How did you meet? Okay. All these broad questions are helpful to the USCIS officer to understand if you're in a bona fide marriage. Now, I know the phrase bona fide is not normally used in a day-to-day, but essentially that means you're in a real marriage. You're not entering the marriage for residency, for legal status only. Okay. The key thing here, all right, is another reason why an attorney, immigration specific attorney, is helpful for your case, whether it's from preparing you for the interview or at the interview also, okay, is because worst case scenario, we can remind the officer that the standard of evidence, the burden of proof that's on you as the immigrant, the foreign national, okay, is preponderance of the evidence. Now, you might be asking me, what the hell does preponderance of evidence mean? Essentially, the definition is that you have entered into a marriage more likely than not into a bona fide marriage. So more likely than not is the key phrase. Whereas, this is not a criminal case, but if it was a criminal case, to find someone guilty, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt, meaning a unanimous decision by the jury, right? Like every single person of the 12-person jury have to say, find that person is guilty. That doesn't exist, okay, in USCIS cases, thank God. However, there is another higher standard, all right, clear and convincing evidence. That's I would say, if you're going to be beyond a reasonable doubt for criminal cases, which is not for USCIS, in the middle, I would say clear and convincing evidence. And then for USCIS, it's preponderance of the evidence. So some of y'all, after hearing this, might think, oh, that's a low standard, John. No problem. I can take care of the case myself. Yeah, I mean, initial filing, you could do that. But if you want a smooth process from start to finish, especially in case there's an interview, you need a lawyer to help you, to provide all the documentation necessary, to help organize it, to provide pointers at the very beginning, because they can set the trajectory of the case from start to finish, right? Because if you provide, because some of y'all think like, oh, bank statement, John keeps talking about getting a joint bank statement, but maybe one of the spouse, not necessarily related to who the person is, the sponsor is U.S. citizen or foreign national. Sometimes we talk to people and they're a little bit hesitant to share one account with their spouse. It only takes one. That's all that's necessary. Okay. But some of y'all are shy to do that. And so that's for that reason, just that reason alone, that might be a red flag for you. Okay. If you're the other spouse wanting to, sponsor or get sponsored, and, if you're the foreign national, that might be a red flag. The person's not willing to, not trying to provide marriage advice right now, but I don't know. That's just weird to me. I feel like that's normal to share accounts. I mean, it doesn't have to be every single account. USCIS only cares about one account. They're not going to ask you how many accounts you have and have you shared every single one of them. Okay. Now, the deal is about the conduct. They start to give you a hard time. Even if you don't have a lawyer, I get it. Budget is a concern for many people. Even if you don't have a lawyer and you get the sense that, man, this gal or guy is ridiculous. Like asking the same question over and over. then you can still be politeful back, respectful, and say, "Sir, ma'am, I think I believe I just answered that question previously." This is like trial. I would say I would object to the lawyer say, um, objection asked and answered, right? That basically means it was a repetitive question. Like, get over it, move on. But if you're representing, you're representing yourself, filed your case yourself, and you're at the interview, you still want to be respectful. Okay, as an attorney in interviews, we are still respectful. And then worst case scenario, you need to ask for a supervisor. Okay, it's basically a gut check to these officers that are interviewing you. That, oh shoot, maybe I should be, that they should be more respectful. So that's just something to consider in case you represent yourself. I could go on and on about this topic, but I just want to give you a higher level information on that sense. Now to some of the questions. Shani on TikTok: why does USCIS request a second biometric for a VAWA case? Now, second biometric, that's interesting. Maybe typically the default reason could be that your original biometrics that you conducted or completed, expired. But otherwise, like if you did the first one a couple months ago, yeah, that's kind of strange. But ultimately, hopefully, you're not too far from the biometrics or the ASC office and can get that done. But that could be why, or maybe they lost your biometrics. Would be really strange. But you're just asking me to make up reasons for USCIS. I can't, but that's just what I would anticipate. Okay, Grishma, can I tell you when EB3 is going to be current again? No, I can't tell you. I wish I could. I know there's a lot of people that have like recordings, videos talking about the visa bulletin, but I don't think any of them predict when things can happen. We just tell you what the visa bulletin has done, like retrogress. I know there's a lot of retrogression, unfortunately. Pretty ridiculous because there's in general still many visa numbers available. They just need to reallocate. But no, I couldn't tell you when it's going to be current. I wish I could. If I ever work for the government, even if I work for a State Department higher level, I don't even think they know. I don't know what kind of formula they use. That would be wonderful. If I find out, I'll let you know. But I don't know right now. Okay, moving on. Salves. Hello there. After work permit, can you apply for travel document? There's not necessarily an order for that, but you can apply for a travel document for several reasons. If you have a 485 application filed, it's not necessarily because you have a 765 application approved or filed. It's more about the basis is the 485 application, or it could be you have DACA, or you have TPS, or you are refugee, or you're asylee pending asylum application, or you're asylee, or meaning your asylum application was approved. So those are several reasons. But the only one where they really don't care the reason, that we honestly just put tourism as the reason, is for based on adjustment status. For all the other ones, they're very specific. Okay, they're very limited. They're not just going to willy-nilly grant the advanced parole, aka travel document. Okay, which it is a misnomer, I believe. Travel document, anyone can technically leave the U.S., but legally speaking, if you've overstayed your visa, you don't want to leave unless you have the advance parole document in hand, like it's approved, and you have the official notice. I'm doing Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football again. Okay, but anyway, which by the way, if you have Netflix, watch that documentary. Getting it mixed up with documentarily qualified. But anyway, I think it's pretty interesting because we're very quick to judge people, and me following some football, I follow less football these days, but with two little kids. But it's very easy to try to judge someone. But I think it gives pretty good insight on someone's mindset and what they're going through. But pretty interesting. So, anyways, yeah, you want to advance parole. That is that is something that you could apply for, depending on the basis of your application. So if you're here on a non-immigrant visa, you wouldn't file the 131. How successful are extraordinary ability petitions? Man, that's $1 million question. Also, when people ask about like national interest waiver, which I do need to record, share more information about that. It can be successful. People we get approvals. Is everyone qualified for it when they chat with us or in general? No, certainly not. And I'd say because everyone's trying to do that, right? A lot more people are more these days more aware about EB2 and extraordinary ability petitions. I know like people from certain countries like Russia, they try to apply for that. They got approved for it, petition step number one, but then at the visa stage, phase two, um, yeah, they have delayed, and they're just the government. Our assumption is that they're checking background check, which is still ridiculous. So yeah, sometimes that happens, and they get the petition approval petition with an intent to revoke, unfortunately. But anyways, yes, sorry, I like to share red flags and some negative situation. I just want y'all to know, like, yeah, a lot of attorneys like to share all the rosy situations. I like to show the other side, okay? Because y'all need to know the realistic situation for some situations, okay? Well, any scenario. Okay. Alexa Ben, how long does a board of immigration appeals take to look at your case? Boy, I mean, my goodness, that's a great question as well. I don't have a finite number, but I would say expect to wait at least 2 to 3 years. Unfortunately, it's really sad. It's just ridiculous. And the thing is, even with the attorneys, you might think like, oh shoot, all of a sudden my attorney wants information from me. We only have 30 days. Well, that's just how the Board of Immigration Appeals work. They, you file the notice of appeal, but you don't actually have to provide the brief for the appeal. And that's really because when you file the notice of appeal, you only have 30 days after the court decision, right? Immigration court decision. And then, so that's realistically just not enough time to prepare an extensive brief and evidence and all that. But when your attorney or you yourself do file that notice of appeal, the clerk of the BIA, sometime later, there's no like timetable when they do that, but sometime later they'll mail in a briefing schedule. And the briefing schedule will say you got 30 days to respond and provide us a brief and any evidence. So what we do, we handle limited appeals on purpose, right? Because of these deadlines. Otherwise, we'll be like running around like a chicken with their head cut off. But everyone wants to file an appeal. But sorry, this is a longer answer than you actually probably wanted. But in terms of our workflow, as soon as we file that notice of appeal form, then we go ahead and get started with our client to collect that evidence, right? And to start preparing that brief. Most law firms wait until they receive the briefing schedule, which doesn't make sense. It's just too stressful for everyone involved. All right. So anyways, okay. Let me switch over to YouTube real quick as Maria finds another question. Anu, your question for today's show: when you add the new spouse I-360 with DS-260, I have the green card, wet stamp after landing U.S. after. I think you asked a question in the comment section. Trying to rephrase your question for everyone on the show. Can you get married after I-360 decision, irrespective if it was a void or final approval? I mean, in general, you can get married, but yeah, it's more about can your spouse who doesn't have status basically follow to join on your I-360. So I just don't have the information on, if that is your question, I just don't have the information on hand in terms of timing when to do it. But if it's anything clear as day, I mean, getting married sooner than later. But of course, make sure your fiance is the one you want to spend the rest of your life with, hypothetically. So good luck with that decision. Okay. But yeah, give us a call or send us an email about that. Okay. Sometimes y'all ask some hypothetical questions, so I don't know if it's really for you or not, which I'm happy to answer questions for your friends or whatnot, but it's really better if they contact us. Okay. I see this question, Andy, on TikTok. How much a consultation fee? Unfortunately, I'm not able to share here because I got banned yesterday for like 5 minutes on TikTok talking about fees, even though I want to be transparent. But so we do have a fee for consultation if you don't qualify for the free one, which by the way, this is a good time to mention again, where if you want quicker access for a consultation be prioritized, you need to use this code, okay, for the free 15-minute strategy session. The code is got visa. Okay, this expires in 24 hours starting today, 12 p.m. So the best way, if you just don't want to forget the code, just DM us, send us a text message, or go to our website, greencardguys.com, fill out the form, answer a couple questions, and put the code in somewhere. We're asked like, when you're sharing more details, you could just put on the top, got visa. So the cares team specialist will know to prioritize you. Okay. At least if anything, at least to call you back sooner than someone else. Right. Because we want to provide some value to you because you're following us, you're joining our live show, because, some other people find us other ways, like the traditional old school way, referred by a client, a friend, or someone I know in my professional network. But hey, y'all spending time here, so I want to give y'all some more priority access. So the secret code is got visa. That's the code for today. I'm going to start using different ones depending on the day. So anyways, so take advantage of that. Okay, folks. Pin question. Okay, how long does a process take to marry someone who... Thanks, Brittany. Appreciate the roses. Thank you so much. I was watching TikTok live last night for like 5 minutes, and I think it was really weird. I don't know if y'all have seen this, but maybe y'all do this as a influencer. But yeah, it was really weird because some people were like, whenever they got a rose or some kind of gift, they started like making sounds. I thought that was weird. But thanks Maria for pinning it again. But whatever floats y'all's boat. How long does it take to marry someone who overstayed visa and you being a U.S. resident? It takes a hell of a long time, and I don't recommend filing quite yet. Hopefully you're eligible to become a U.S. citizen. Okay, Pukins. Hopefully you are eligible for that. Naturalize to become a U.S. citizen. Because you could file a petition right now, I-130, on behalf of your spouse, and it could take like 1 to 2 years. But even if it gets approved, that petition right now, there's usually misunderstanding that, okay, petition approved, now you can file a 45, but it doesn't. The issue right now is failure to maintain status for your spouse, most likely, assuming he or she's in the U.S. Okay, Jose Garcia, you renew your DACA in May. You haven't heard anything yet. Your due date is August 16th. Okay, I think you mean due date. I think you mean, assuming you mean expiration date of your current one. When you file this when you got the receipt notice for 765, it may have said something about extension of the work permit. If it did, then share that with your employer if they're really concerned, right? If the concern is them. Depending on your state, if you're concerned about is the driver license expiring, then some states, I believe, allow just the receipt notice itself to provide that extension, okay, for the driver license. So hopefully that helps, okay? All right, on to, okay, Jada, I'm going to answer this one. Then I'm going to switch to YouTube for a question. You send your case January 24, 22. Ooh, okay. What kind of case? How to check the time? Well, unfortunately, if you've ever ordered from Domino's, then you're probably aware that on their app or website, they provide like a pizza tracker. USCIS, it appears that US is trying to do that in their My USCIS account, but it's not accurate. Okay, I don't know how they can figure that out. I don't know. They are saying, like, some people on the show are saying like, oh, on the account it shows like 2 weeks or something like that, but I don't see how they can do that. Look, think about this. because he might be questioning me like, but mine was accurate. Okay, great. That's cool for you. But like for most people, it's not going to be accurate. If anything, it's the draw of the luck for you, to be honest, like in my opinion. Because look, if they were that accurate, why can't they do the same thing for the people waiting abroad outside the United States? Because a lot of y'all asking like, how long will it take to get the visa interview after documentary qualified, DQ'd, or how long will you get the visa issued after you had the interview? Like, those are $1 million questions that no one really has an answer to. I mean, it would be great. I wish I had the knowledge for that. But to be honest, I don't think the government even knows on purpose, right? So because you ask the people working for the government at the window or something, they don't have the answer. I'm sure they would love to tell you, so they stop receiving those questions. Okay, I see y'all put the some of y'all sharing the code. That's cool. That's cool. But yeah, DM us, okay, as a message. I can't switch to see if you've been DMing, like as a direct message. That code got visa. 485 pending, single but want to marry. Well, okay. You have a work permit and events pro. Okay, that's great. You want to marry and add your partner. Okay, so yeah, it depends on the case type, the visa. And sometimes USCIS will try to deny your spouse because they would allege depending on timing. So hopefully, what's it called? Yeah, what you need to do if you want to verify is speak to one of our care team specialists, and they can schedule you. Okay, it's a secret code for y'all to give value for you to prioritize your consultation is got visa. Okay, so use that code so you can be prioritized. Don't worry, if you call them right now, they don't know this right now. So I'm going to mention to them right after the show. Okay, so about 15 minutes. This is more impromptu, but I'm going to start doing this maybe every day. We'll see. How long is it taking? How long is it taking for the spouse visa? You applied for your husband in January. If you're a U.S. citizen, and you file all the forms. Let's say like at least the I-130, 864, and 485. Then it's marriage case, and you're the U.S. citizen, or at least involves one person as a U.S. citizen, and there's legal entry. Then generally 3 to 5 months on average. Now, this is a 2023 trend. And of course, safely assuming you provide all the events they wanted. Okay. They want to make sure that you're in a bona fide marriage, a real marriage, not entered into for immigration status only. Okay. We do get a lot of inquiries from people who have received a notice of intent deny, request for evidence, asking for that kind of bona fide marriage evidence. And sometimes some of y'all might not have it because y'all weren't focusing on this. Some of y'all think, oh, it's just filling out a form. What's the date of birth when I enter America? Sounds simple. The form itself, it's fairly practical. I don't want to say easy. It's practical. You could fill it out. But our service is not about filling out forms. A lot of attorneys think that. It's about customer service. It's about updating you timely. It's about guiding you on what type of evidence to provide. Sure, USCIS website.gov has their own instructions, but it's not going to tell you based on your situation, okay? Because some maybe you're living separately because one person has to work in a different city, different state, so we have to think outside the box, right? In terms of what kind of evidence. All right, so let's see here. Kalakata on YouTube. Sorry, I've been meaning to get back to you on YouTube. You need to expedite your mother's AP-131 application. Do you qualify for humanitarian reason? Travel to meet relative who is a cancer patient undergoing treatment. It's possible. It doesn't cost you anything to call USCIS customer service hotline or whatever they call it. But you don't have to have the documents ready, like on hand at the time that you call USCIS hotline contact center, but you want to be ready in case, because usually how it works, is that when you call in and tell them the information that, I want to expedite request, I would like to submit expedite request, it's becoming more difficult. I've tried the past month. It took me like freaking hours to get through, our team hours to get through, and it's just so difficult because it's a freaking automated bot. So we actually, I know in a prior video I have on YouTube, I talked about having, trying on the Emma website chat. I haven't seen it pop up in a while. So maybe Emma's gone missing. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments if you've seen um, Emma. Hey, this is cool. So I'm in a live show on TikTok and actually just show the DM pop up. So don't forget, folks, if you're interested in this strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you, and I want to share some, provide value to you so that you're prioritized for the consultation. Some people might need it sooner than others. I get it, but you might as well take advantage of it. DM us or give us a call and share the code got visa. Okay, so you can get prioritized because we do get a lot of requests for the consultation. So go ahead and share that code. And you can DM us because sometimes, I mean, on YouTube, you can't DM, I guess, but at least on TikTok and Instagram, you're welcome to DM, and especially if you're at work and you can't call in right now. User 808, can you get married after your VAWA application approved while waiting for GC? So I think you're asking this question in terms of timing to see if your spouse can join you on the application. I think that's why you're asking. But if it's just based on your question alone as is, then there's no restriction. But yeah, my assumption is for your spouse to get status too. So you would need to contact us one-on-one for that because it just depends on timing. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, YouTube. Sanjog, your friend filed for asylum, but case denied, but still applied. But she still applied, higher court, still pending case. I think you mean immigration court, and she married a U.S. citizen, and her petition's pending. Can she file 485 application while asylum case pending? Yes, she can. Now, well, how did she enter America? Did she enter the visa? I think most people assume that people file for asylum entered without a visa, but actually a pretty good amount of people, when we speak with them, they enter on a B1, B2 tourist visa or enter on a student visa or something else, and then eventually file for asylum. So if your friend had entered in the United States with a visa, then she can go ahead and file for the 485, even when the petition is pending. Okay, so, and yeah, you mentioned that she's married to a U.S. citizen, so those are the main requirements to look at. All right, hopefully that helps. And of course, if you don't mind, there's a good opportunity to share with you that some of y'all have asked questions for your friends and family, which is so nice. You're so nice to them. But what you can do, if you don't mind, is share our channel to them, okay? Because apparently it helps the algorithm, but you'll be a really nice friend if you do that for us, but also for your friend and family, okay? Oh, no problem, Anu. Yeah, anything immigration related, framing the question is sometimes difficult because there's so many things to consider. Mona, thanks for the roses. I think that's what you gave. Appreciate it. Does removal conditions have any influence on the filing of a minor child? I think what you mean, to understand your question better, is that does your child have to remove conditions as well? Yes. If it shows 2 years on your child's resident card, if it doesn't for some reason, then it shows 10 years. So conditional is for 2 years. The other one is permanent, then that'd be 10 years. So if for some reason for a child, it doesn't say have a validity date of 2 years, but has it for 10, then you don't have to remove conditions for a child. Okay, hopefully that helps. Los Guerrero, you had your AOS interview May 18th and you haven't received your green card yet. Well, I'm glad you had the interview, but before you even receive the green card, did you receive the interview? I mean, sorry, the notice, the decision notice. Oh, I got to charge my phone. Okay, so did you receive the decision notice? Is what I mean, because you would need to receive that decision notice. That would come before the actual resident card. Okay, so check. You may have done this. Check the USCIS.gov. Go to tools and resources. There's a box option for check the status, and copy and paste in your 485 receipt notice. So usually on the data on the computer, it won't say like approved or denied. It will just say decision mailed. So you want to keep track of that, because some people have it's been so long, and some people actually did receive it or hypothetically received it, and but you didn't actually receive it. Then you need to submit inquiry. So sorry, I don't know what the heck is up with my internet, but at least on TikTok it shows lost connection for some reason. Okay, Brittany, your husband is in another country. Does he go to interview alone? Will you prep him? Do I go too? So if it sounds like you're already filed your case, which is completely fine. What we do for people who are abroad outside the United States, we can help prepare your spouse, okay, for the interview. It does, when the person is abroad, we don't represent in person, face to face. In fact, actually, the U.S. citizen spouse or resident spouse is not required to attend the interview when it's abroad outside the United States at the embassy or consulate. And in most cases, when I have heard of people trying to go interview room that's abroad, visa officers won't let them in. So you might as well save your flight money on that. But yes, we do help with taking over the case. So let's say, for example, you're at the stage that Brittany, you're at the stage where you just filed it, or any stage basically, or you got it approved already, the petition, and getting ready to prepare all your financial documents to upload that. We can help at that stage as well. Okay, so we take over in the middle of the case. We can do that. Okay, Marissa on YouTube. You're married to a Brazilian living in Brazil for the last year. Congratulations on your marriage. You took his last name when you got married, but you haven't changed your name on your passport yet. So your husband put your married name or maiden name on DS-160. Okay. Well, first of all, it might not be the DS-160. Maybe it's a 260 because you're married. Unless you're applying for something else other than through a marriage case. Let's see. By the way, Raja Kama, I'm going to get to your question next on Instagram. Let's see. You took his last. So I would start the process to update your passport, especially if your passport's going to expire within the next 6 months, because usually State Department somewhere on their instructions say you need to have it valid for at least 6 months at the time of stamping or time of interview. Okay. And depending on your country, you might not get your passport in time, and that's understandable, in time for the interview. That's understandable, but in case they give you a problem, at least you can show them, I don't know, your receipt or some kind of application that you filed for the new passport showing the last name, but it's not required. We haven't had clients get dinged for it or any negative consequences. But on a DS-160 or DS-260 or any other application others may file, they typically have another section for other names used. And they may have another section for maiden name. All right. So it's not that you're not trying to tell the truth. You are, right? But I know you're trying to verify you have the proper documentation for it. But no, it's not necessary that you have the passport with his last name. Gotcha. Okay, you're planning to stay in Brazil, and he's applying for a tourist visa right now. Oh, okay. So I was making an assumption that, okay, so your husband is the foreign national. Okay, sounds like you're the U.S. citizen. Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. But in the meantime, I mean, even if you're planning to stay in Brazil, You might want to try to time it right because since y'all are broad consular processing, I mean, these days that takes 2 years, right? So you may want to consider filing petition also. But first, for now, get that tourist visa first. Okay, so because you typically, not for everyone, but typically the official visa is valid for 10 years. Okay. All right, sounds good. All right, good luck to you, Marissa, and your spouse. Zach P, you got a message telling you to file 751. Shoot, I just missed it. There it goes. Thanks, Maria. Tell you to file 751, but you're already a U.S. citizen. Do you need to do anything? Well, that is interesting. Did you file a 751 before, and you're a conditional resident? Because they're not USCIS is not supposed to approve your N400 if you had conditional resident status and you did not file a 751. So, but if you already did file it and got it approved, then you're good to go on that one. Okay, you don't have to refile it. So this example, folks, I would love to go more in depth. I just need more. I have more follow-up questions. If you want, more in-depth answer, you're welcome to give us a call or go to our website, greencardguys.com, and click on Contact Us. Just to be safe, I'm not going to share our phone number live here because TikTok is a little bit picky about this. And I'm not supposed to share like the fees or range, anything like that, because I got banned yesterday for like 5 minutes. It was kind of weird. So TikTok has pretty good algorithm, and my fear is that social media wise and our privacy rights, they listen to everything, or unless someone clicked on violation or something, which please, why are you doing that? How many years to study to become immigration lawyer? You really want to be one? Hey, more power to you. I'm different than most lawyers. I think more lawyers that do good work, of course, a good human, provide a proper service. We want more of y'all. Okay. I can't do this alone. All right, lady. So, but in general, I don't know if you're in the US or not, but in America, how it works is that you have to get your university bachelor's degree first, which I worked my ass off to get it done in 3.5 years, but typically 4 years in America. And then law school is 3 years. Before law school, of course, you got to take the LSAT. But if you have a bachelor's or maybe a law degree abroad outside America, then you can go for LLM in America, basically Master of Law program, and then take the bar, which I think Master of Law is 1 year program. Maybe I'm wrong. What is the interview process like after applying for a green card through marriage? Well, to answer your question directly, it's, our clients, the way we prepare it and, based on experience, it can take on average 15 to 30 minutes. Usually it takes longer in that sense with our clients because just to go through the preliminary, USCIS officers, bless their heart, they have a lot of cases. They typically don't review the entire file before the interview. I'm sure they look at a few things, but I don't know that for sure. Of course, I don't ask the officer, hey, do you look at the file before? It's just based on what I see, right? Like they're literally looking through every file, every page. So that shows to me that they haven't looked at it or whatnot, which is almost like every officer. I'm sure if they had more time, they would love to look at it. But what is an interview like? Yeah, I need to record about that. Maria, can you write that down as a question to record about? Honestly, any of these questions I can record about. So thank you so much for the questions. But I can't say, I said average 15, 30 minutes. But if there's something that the US, okay, so cases that they do check proactively beforehand, okay, is based on country of nationality or if there's a interracial marriage, okay? In my opinion, I believe discriminatory. Other people might say something different. But for certain countries, nationals of Nigeria, China, y'all got to watch out, okay? Y'all got to watch out. You got to pay attention to your prior application. If you have not filed before and you're filing for a DS-160, visitor visa, Do not lie on your application. They will find out. Do not check mark that you're married if you're only engaged, or if that person doesn't even exist. Okay, so I've heard of stories like that. Okay, we've been able, for our own clients, we've been able to overcome it with the waiver. But my goodness, folks, don't do that if you know better. And if you're watching the show, now you know better. Okay. Marissa, back to you. Should it be fine to write your married name? Yeah, I mean, it's fine because you are married. I think it's just common, for better or worse, in U.S. society. I think it's common to take the husband's name, or in that way, or spouse's name. But yeah, you can do that. But there should be a box for maiden name or other name used. Okay, let's switch over to Instagram, because I apologize, Raja Kama. Enter a country with F1 visa. You lady, wants to adopt you. You're 25 already. You can get a green card by adoption. Adoption must occur before 16 years old. It's weird. I actually did see a page on the US. Could you hear that? I burped. Excuse me. I did see a page earlier on the USCIS website about, maybe they phrase it wrong, but there's a page about adult adoptees, which is kind of strange because that's implying that you could be an adult now and be adopted. But I could be wrong. But from what I read so far, yeah, it has to be before 16, unless they're talking about something else. So, but that's one of those things we're happy to research for you. You just let us know, okay, if you have further questions on that. But yeah, the default rule is before 16. So, but you know me. We're immigration problem solvers, so don't give up just because of what I said right now. Yeah, that's just strange how they adapt it, but there is a page. You can DM us. All right, Rajakama, and we'll send you this page on the USCIS website. But write in there what you're asking for, so then one of us on the marketing team can remember. Sush and Jen on IG. U.S. citizen, husband filed for you. You're from Canada. Consular, May 23. What do you mean? Did you mean that you already had an interview May 23? How long is it taking, and can I apply for work permit while waiting? Where are you waiting? Are you waiting in Canada or in America? I'm assuming in Canada because you wrote in consular. So if you're consular processing, you're outside America, then there is no work permit. As soon as you touch down to America, you have your visa, then the green card, the resident card itself is sufficient for work purposes. You don't need to apply for a separate work permit. Great question. I just don't know where you're located, so it depends. But if you're in the U.S., just in case other people are wondering, you're waiting in Canada. Okay, so then my first answer is I stand by that one for you. You don't need you can't file a work permit. But if you have, yeah, but what do you mean by consular though? Are you waiting? Are you still waiting for the interview, or you already had it? Okay. Well, folks, this is amazing. A lot of comments here. It's 12:52 Central Time. I only have about 7 minutes to answer as many questions as possible. So just knowing that I most likely cannot answer 99 more questions here, you're welcome to give us a call or DM us, direct message on Instagram, TikTok. I don't know how it's done on YouTube, on that, or Facebook. All right, whatever your choice platform, DM us this code, Got Visa, because you can get quicker access. Not saying it's going to be today, because if you call in today, sometimes the CARES team specialist can fit you in for like next week. Right, well, it's already Friday, but like later part of next week, just because we're already booked up. But this code is helpful because we get many calls, right? So we want to provide this access, this bonus to you for following our channel, staying tuned with our channel and asking questions. The code is God Visa. It's not going to be the same code every other day or whatnot. So stay tuned for that, okay? Because I'll give you the code now. You might forget to call us. So that's why you might as well send us a DM real quick on your respective platform so you don't forget. Alrighty. Sush and Jen. How long is the consular process taking then? You just got the receipt? You mean the I-130? Boy, oh boy, you got a long time, Sush and Jen. You got a long time. It's probably going to take 2 years. Yeah, most lawyers don't want to tell you that, but it's going to take probably 2 years. From the petition phase, minimum 6 to 10 months. Then you got the step 2, phase 2 is the National Visa Center, uploading financial documents, which is for the U.S. citizen to do or resident. And then the third phase is waiting for the visa interview. So for Canada, for Canadians tends to be sooner. I won't say faster, because faster makes it seem like next month, but sooner than people from like Nigeria or China, just inherently because there's more applicants from those countries. But I think Canada has their shit together a little bit better sometimes. Excuse my French. Oh, how fitting. Some people speak French in Canada. So Shushan Jen, you might have more questions. All right. So, and we do have other strategy for you. If you're considering another pathway, give us a call. Send us a DM. Got Visa. Because we do have suggestions. All right. Queenie Pearl, can a green card holder file for F2 visa for fiance? Do you mean K1? Because F is associated with student visa. And you said green card holder. So that was a little bit confusing for me. All right. Back to YouTube. Anyone else on YouTube? I know you say, if law in USA is that easy just after 1 year after law bachelor's abroad, why don't you see more F1 students moving to USA for law studies? There's actually quite a few. I've noticed that it's more so actually from China, okay, than any other country. But maybe that's just because I have East Asian descent, so I'm part of those affinity groups, associations. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, I do feel bad for people who, apply for, not apply, but get university degree, bachelor's degree in US with the high expectation of getting a temporary work visa in America. The default one first is H-1B. It's very hard, as some of y'all know. I'm pretty sure Anu would know this too, but yeah, H-1B is very difficult. So maybe that's why some people don't do that, Anu, because law degree inherently is probably more expensive. Okay, so Nara Veliki, forms used to apply for your parents' green cards living outside of US, I-130. Okay, your parents are outside of US. So yes, right now, it's only the petition. Okay, if anyone is outside the US, the only form right now is the petition. If you have a lawyer, then we would also file G28. That was not a big deal, but you wouldn't file G28 unless like you're helping out a friend or something. But if a friend is helping you, that might not be a good idea. Okay. Which in all seriousness, I always hear like uncle or aunt like to want to help, family members, they do want to help. But at the end of the day, there's a key difference in a family member, friend versus a lawyer, immigration lawyer helping, is that this is what we do every day. And we know what USCIS is doing. We know the common problems, and we don't guess, okay? And we stay on top of the case, among other things. Brittany, what's the fastest way to get your husband here so he can be here during your pregnancy, visitor visa? Ooh, okay. So, Brittany, from your prior comment, sorry, I didn't mean to respond that way initially. First of all, congratulations on your pregnancy. Wish you all the best. We have 2 little kids, so I'm always here for parental advice or, raising kids as a newborn, because I don't know anything else right now. But if you already started the process in terms of you already filed the petition, then not trying to discourage you, but the visitor visa application could get denied. We've noticed that often, and when people call in and tell us this, it tends to be denied when you already filed a petition. And also, I don't know if this is helpful to Marissa as well, but if you're already married, um, if you haven't filed but you're already married, your spouse might get denied for a visitor visa. Okay, so for others, if you're not married yet and your fiance wants to get, just think about different strategies, I suggest trying to apply for the visitor visa first. Okay, you can do this online. You don't need our help. I mean, we can help you. Um, Not directly, I guess you could say indirectly. We've got a lot of questions about visitor visa application. We're going to come up with a program, a course that's, I don't know, like $59 or something through our sister company. And that can give you all the information that hopefully you need. Okay. But we don't help with like filing it per se. Anu, you asked, did I mean H-1B is easier for computer grads as compared to law graduate? Maybe because USCIS is not a highly skilled thing. No, I just meant, yeah, it could be any occupant, any occupation. I mean, because because there's a lottery system. I guess they don't call it lottery, but that's what it is technically. It's random selection if they want. We want to use USCIS terminology. Alrighty. Citizenship through military. I think you mean if is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But you have to be a resident first. It's not a direct path to citizenship. So, but I believe we have a free guide about that, Zach. So if you want to DM us or contact us, our team will email that to you. Okay. There's actually our guide about anyone in the military is pretty extensive just because they have a lot of different scenarios to help you out. And by the way, Zach, thank you for your service. And of course, anyone else who's a veteran or serving the military. Okay. Judith Gonzalez, how long does I-212 waiver take? Boy, I can't remember offhand, but it depends on timing. It could be like 6 months to 12 months. Okay. So just keep that in mind. 6 to 12 months. It certainly is a lot faster than the 601A application because that's taking 44 months on the processing timetable. Okay, this might have to be the last question because I have to go to my next meeting. For Michelle on YouTube, how long is 765 taking based on pending 485 application C9 filed in August 22? And you're still waiting. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So it sounds like you might have gotten right outside their window period to get your case filed sooner. Michelle, I'm assuming that your case is based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, and so that's why you filed C9 as well. But if it is, then if any case definitely filed in 2023, then 4 to 6 months. Okay. But we even 20 cases in 2023, which I know it doesn't help you because you filed in 2022. But sometimes the resident card is approved, application approved before people even get the work permit, which is amazing because you get the resident card, then it doesn't matter about the work permit itself because you can travel with the green card, resident card, you can travel and you can work with that in terms of providing proof, okay, to the customs, ticket agent, gate agent, and also, of course, HR, human resources. Okay, so hopefully that helps. All right, folks, thank you so much for your questions. I know there's way many more questions. If you don't mind, give us a call. If you have any questions, you want more in-depth answers, give us a call, contact us, or DM us in case you're at work, all right, and you just don't have time to fill out the form either. But DM us this code, secret code, got visa. All right, so take advantage of that. And we wish you the best. Brittany, thanks so much for the roses. Really appreciate it. I know you'll have a lot of wonderful questions. We appreciate you considering us to guide you. And today's Friday, so we'll see you back on live on Monday. You'll have a good one. Take care.